Okay, as promised, I was going to show you guys. This is the buttercream version of the Highland cow. And I've already placed the nose on. I didn't want to have to go through frosting the cake and all of that. But anyway, I've used modeling chocolate for the nose and for the eyes. And as you can see, I've already placed those on there. I did pre-make the horns. And basically, it's just a sausage rolled out with two pointy ends and then shaped like horns. And it's a little warm today, so I know y'all didn't want to see me doing this whole cake. Just, I'm using a grass tip. That looks like this, if you can see that. It's just a grass tip to make the furry hair. And I've got some brown buttercream. You just put it on the cake and pull. Put it on the cake and pull. Now I've got to do a little refill. I'm doing these in short bursts because this cake is actually due on Wednesday. But I have all the cupcakes I still have to make. I told myself I was going to stop saying every 5 minutes. But basically, it's just like if you would do grass, and it is a grass tip. So you just put it to the cake and pull. Cake and pull. And it doesn't have to be perfect. The cow's hair is not perfect. Nothing is perfect. Just make sure that it adheres to the cake and pull. And it is a lot of work. And if you mess up, simple. You just take that little piece of buttercream off, put it back in your bowl. You're gonna make mistakes. It happens. I don't like that one either. So again, just take that little blob off. Sometimes when the buttercream gets too warm, you'll have issues getting the strings to lay like they should. And if you're trying to show it on camera, that's when you're going to get mess ups as well. Because any other time, you'd be just buzzing right along. But put it on camera and guess what happens? Every mistake. And I'm okay with mistakes because we all make them. So you just push it to the cake and pull. Push and pull. They don't have to be as long right at the eyes because, you know, if you've looked at any images of the Highland cows, they are cute little hairy cows. I love them. They're one of the prettiest cows. So, as you can see, I've draped some hair down over the nose. If you guys want to learn how to make the nose and all that, I will do the smaller ones later for the cupcakes. And basically, this is just a bigger version. I just did a round piece of modeling chocolate, and then I used my ball tool, the large one, made a couple of indentions, put his lip down there, gave him a little bit of a slit right in the middle. And you're going to want to clean your tip every so often because that will keep it from adhering to the cake as well. So just press, pull, press, pull. And this is a lot of buttercream, but they wanted buttercream, so that's what they're getting. I am going to do some modeling chocolate pieces around the top of the head. But I'll be sticking this in the refrigerator pretty soon because I don't want it to melt. Some longer pieces. And if pieces fall off, that's okay. It's gonna happen. We'll turn him back around. You can see he's already starting to get a little bit of a face. Just go in between every time you go around. Go in between the last part that you did. Don't just keep going in a straight line, because then it's just going to look too symmetrical and you don't want that. Just go in between, push and drag. And then I wanted to show you guys the horns. So this is going to go right on top with the flowers. And we'll just run a dowel through there. Well, a wooden skewer will run through to hold it in place. But right now I'm going to stick it back in the refrigerator. And like I said, it's just modeling chocolate rolled into a sausage, and then on each end you just roll it super thin and give it the little points on each end. Okay, so I did add a little light because it was hard for me to see, so I know it has to be hard for you guys to see. So anyway, again, push, drag, push, drag. And I'm just going around the eyes. Because I want them to have a little depth perception. I don't want to give them a lot around the eyes, because then you lose the eyes. And we'll just move that around and manipulate it a little bit with my tool. And I'm actually going to paint the eyes once this sets up. And I know everyone's like, why would you put the eyes on? Because I like to have a visual when I'm painting. And if it's on the face already, it just works for me. Some people do it different. They put it on top of the buttercream. But this is how I do it. If you feel comfortable putting it on after, then do that by all means. So you see, we have some short, some long. But it's starting to get a face. And whatever messes up, you can go back and fix. There's no law that says you can't scrape it down and redo it. So, you noticed I'm just kind of going at an angle down the front. I'm gonna give it some bangs, probably out of modeling chocolate, just to make it a little more cutesy. All right, we're gonna go ahead and fill the bag again. And I just roll it over Some people prefer putting it in a glass, and you can do that, but I just do it like this. Then you squeeze it out to get the air bubbles out. There will be air bubbles. And you just push, drag, push, drag, push. All right. And when you're releasing, there I go with the ums again. When you're releasing the pressure, once you press it to the cake, you press, pull, release. Press, pull, release. Press, pull, release. It's just repetitive. You just keep going over and over. You want to put pressure on the bag and then release the pressure. Some are definitely longer, some are shorter, and that is okay. Okay, I went ahead and did a lot more because I know you guys don't want to just watch me stringing this thing. So I did a lot more of it. I did all of the back. We still have to do the top. The best part is going to be once we get all the dusting done and get the eyeballs, the flowers, the horns, and then he'll start looking like a little Highland cow. These little cows, if you have not looked at the images of these are the cutest little fluffy, hairy cows. So I am also going to airbrush a little color to give it some dimension. Just because I can never be like super simple with something. We'll just drape that over a little bit. And plus I like to airbrush, so that's why. Once you get to the top, you have to start layering, and you'll just work your way to the center. And I've saw a lot of these little Highland cows. People have done them with modeling chocolate, with fondant, buttercream, and they are just adorable. Like I said, one of my favorites for sure. So if you want to make one of these, just be prepared to do a lot of piping. A lot of piping. Which is not too bad if you use the right buttercream. But if you get some buttercream that's too stiff, you are going to feel like your hand is on fire by the time you're done. I use my easy buttercream. And plus, once you get it in the refrigerator, it hardens up. Not too hard where you can't eat it, but look at that little face. You see that little face? You can't really see his eyes too much, but you will be able to once I get them painted. And like I said, the rest is just layering on top. And there's longer pieces on top. Just because I want it to flow over and not look so, what is a good word to use? I just want it to have flow, I guess. So I do the top a little longer, not to look so choppy. You have to remember the horns and the flowers are going to go on top. So give them some direction. The hairs don't just go one direction. And it looks like we're going to fill up again. A lot of piping, a lot of buttercream. So make enough buttercream to do your cake and your cupcakes, if you're doing cupcakes with it, which I am. So I think I'll have enough to get a few cupcakes. I might have to make a little more buttercream, but not too much. Get the air out. Like I said, push and drag, that's all you gotta do. Super simple, and use the grass tip. Super simple. I think I did a Cookie Monster one time with this tip, but I used the wrong buttercream, and let me just tell you, my hand and my wrist were hurting so bad by the time I was done. Okay, so now we're just going to do some little strings. Alright, almost done. Now I'm just going to blend the long ones in. I might have screwed that little piece up, but I can just pipe over it. we're almost there. You have to remember when you're doing these types of cakes, hairs do not run in one direction. So we just added a few little squigglies. All right. So we have our little cow cake, and I am gonna go ahead